Oh, the drama in Hollywood is never ending. And I'm not talking about the movies. I'm referring to the Los Angeles Lakers, who are in search of their next head coach after firing Frank Vogel following 3 seasons at the helm. There have been a number of names linked to the job, which was once considered among the most sought-after positions in all of sports. But maybe not anymore. In the latest development, LA has reportedly brought on its own former coach, Phil Jackson, to advise with the hiring process. So, who's going to inherit the role and turn around last season's most disappointing team? Let's break it down. Sit back, relax, and take this in. Before we get started, if you're interested in rocking some The Score gear, check out all our apparel at shop.thescore.com. You can find the link in the description. Go get yourself a hoodie, a crew neck, or a tee because, well, they look dope, don't they? Now let's get going. Jackson, the 11-time NBA champion as a coach, will be playing a significant part in the Lakers' coaching search, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reported on Tuesday. That comes as no surprise. After all, he is the winningest coach in franchise history, and he also helped the Lakers hire Frank Vogel back in 2019. He also has a very close relationship with Lakers owner Jeannie Buss. The rumors have already been swirling, with names like the Raptors' Nick Nurse, Doc Rivers of the Sixers, and Quinn Snyder from the Jazz being floated about. Nurse quickly rebuffed any rumors he was interested, and Raptors Vice Chairman Masai Ujiri said in his end-of-season press conference that teams should keep dreaming about adding on the 2020 Coach of the Year. Nurse has become one of the NBA's most sought-after coaches, and is renowned for his creativity on defense, something that the Lakers, who ranked 21st in defensive efficiency last season, desperately need a new game plan for. The Lakers may still find their next coach from the Raps bench though, with LA requesting permission to interview head assistant Adrian Griffin, according to the Athletics' Shams Charania. Meanwhile, Rivers is currently coaching the Sixers in the NBA playoffs, and while at first there were rumors that he was intrigued by the idea of coaching the Lakers, Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher shut down those rumors, reporting that Doc and the Sixers are aligned on their future together. But Philly does have some added pressure to make it to the conference finals for the first time since 2001, with James Harden and Joel Embiid in win-now mode. If they fail to reach those expectations, maybe Doc and the Sixers won't be as aligned anymore. Doc has experience dealing with multiple big personalities. The Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen Celtics, the Clippers first with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, and then with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So his track record could be attractive for a team with a broken locker room. Snyder, however, could be the most realistic option. The Jazz disappointed yet again in the playoffs, losing to the Dallas Mavericks in the first round. All signs point to them shaking things up heavily this summer, with their 2 stars, Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, reportedly not seeing eye to eye. It was also reported that Snyder declined to sign an extension with the Jazz prior to the season, so the door is open. Snyder was also a Lakers assistant during the 2011-2012 season. His history of bringing out the best in role players like Jordan Clarkson and Joe Ingles in Utah should be alluring to the Lakers, who ranked 22nd in offensive efficiency last year and never found a groove with LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook, especially with respect to their surrounding supporting cast. Snyder could also help sort out the Lakers' defensive woes, as he has experience building a top 10 defensive team with subpar perimeter defenders centered around 3-time Defensive Player of the Year winner Rudy Gobert. Schematically, Snyder could deploy a similar drop-heavy strategy with Davis, a renowned defender himself when healthy, playing the Gobert role. But Snyder is set to have hip replacement surgery this summer, so the Lakers will have to stay patient on that front. If not Snyder, other candidates might include former Warriors head coach Mark Jackson, Milwaukee Bucks assistant coach Darvin Ham, and University of Michigan coach Juwan Howard. Jackson was reportedly favored by LeBron to become the Lakers' next coach, but according to NBA reporter Mark Stein, it is a long shot that actually happens, as he's been linked heavily to the Sacramento Kings vacancy. Howard is also reportedly one of LeBron's preferences because of their time together in Miami with the Heat, but it's unlikely the Wolverines coach leaves, as he reportedly wants to coach his Suns next season, which is fair reasoning, by the way. That leaves Bucks assistant Ham, who received permission from Milwaukee to interview for the Lakers gig just this week. Ham served as a Lakers assistant from 2011 to 2013 and is a former 12-year pro, including playing for the Pistons' 2004 championship team. Warriors assistant coach Mike Brown, Sixers assistant Sam Cassell, former Blazers coach Terry Stotts, and former Magic coach Steve Clifford could also be in the mix. But according to Woj, the Lakers are in no rush and will take their time with this monumental decision. After all, this is one of the more important off-seasons in recent memory for the storied franchise, with uncertainty looming about LeBron's soon-to-be expiring contract. Injuries, a flawed roster, and a disgruntled Russell Westbrook made for a chaotically disappointing 2021-2022 season, where the Lakers finished with 33 wins and didn't even make the play-in tournament. They're also limited in terms of what they can do to change that roster, with no first-round picks available until 2027, and Westbrook's massive $47 million player option presumably on the books for next season. Essentially, the Lakers don't need a coach, they need a miracle worker. Not to mention that the way the Lakers canned Vogel was heavily criticized, as he found out during a press conference following the Lakers' final game of the season.
The Lakers are going to be firing you, a decision they'll let you know tomorrow. And I guess what's your reaction to hearing that?
My reaction is I haven't been told, and I'm going to enjoy tonight's game, celebrate what these young guys did.
The Vogel ordeal came 3 years after Magic Johnson labeled Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka a backstabber following his own chaotic exit from LA's front office. It's safe to say it's been a mess, and that should serve as a warning sign for any coach brave enough to take on the task. So, what do you think? Who's going to be the Lakers' next head coach? Is Phil Jackson going to help them find their way again? Let us know in the comments, and as always, hit that subscribe button for us. We'll see you next time.